Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you on this beautiful and sunny Monday. God bless you for joining us on today. I am Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and the president of a nonprofit organization acknowledged as Trophy of Life Incorporated. And we have the great opportunity, the privilege, and the assignment to render hope and encouragement to you, the world, across the country, everywhere my voice goes. And this particular video, as well as others, is sent. It's all about the hope and encouragement. And we're grateful to God that He's allowed us to do that. Well, before we get into our video and to welcome our guests, I want you to go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Become a part of our team to be able to take this message around the world. We cannot do it on our own. I cannot do it. This is not about Portia Wheatley. This is about you helping us to spread a good message, a wonderful message, a message of hope and a message of encouragement. And again, I cannot do that on my own, so I need you. So go to our YouTube channel. Now wait till this is over, then go to our channel and subscribe. Well, today I want to welcome, let me see, how do I put this? I just met this young lady, maybe about not even a month ago, maybe. And we just gelled together and we began a conversation. And one thing led to another, and today she's here with me to share a message of good news. Remember, on December the 1st, I did a video to let you know, to let the audience know that in the month of December, we're talking about nothing but good news, nothing but good news, because this world and the news channels are full with negative news, bad news, news that take you down in your spirits, that make you frown and all of that. But we don't need that. Of course, you got to hear what's going on around you and in the community. But there is good news. There is good news. And I want you to be a part of it. So don't forget, when you have the opportunity, when you have the chance, when you have a moment, contact me at Trophy of Life Incorporated, trophyoflife@gmail.com. Or you can go to our website, www.trophyoflife.org. Or you can get me at Portia@trophyoflife.org. Okay, we got all of that out of the way. Now let's welcome our guest, Yolanda Wright. I am so happy that you are here to share good news about Alzheimer's and what this has, how it has affected your life, and give us some information about individuals who may be in our families, who this particular disease may be affecting us. We don't know. But just like the audience is here to get information, I am here to get information and to learn. So again, thank you for accepting my invitation to come. And I want you to share from your heart. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Portia. This is such an honor to be here with you. And anytime that I can share my story as well as help people to understand Alzheimer's and dementia and see some hope in that diagnosis, it's a pleasure for me to do so. So I'll kind of start back, way back, but I won't take you too far back, right? So my dad was a minister. And so I always grew up seeing my dad, my mom working together to serve the community, serve our church and the people in the church. And then just through the years, seeing my older brother, my older sister, they're pretty much 13, 14 years older than me. So saw them as a younger sibling doing the same thing. So you could say it's sort of my blood, that I wanted to help others and wasn't sure how that would look, what it would look like or how it would come about. So as I was getting into closer to high school, getting out of high school and kind of thinking about college and career and things like that, there I was. I knew I wanted to be in a profession of helping people. And so it was teaching, even though I, respect nurses and teaching, it didn't feel like the fit for me. And so my mom knew a social worker from the local health department. And she said, I think I have somebody I want you to talk to and just kind of get an idea of what they do. So long story short, I did. And I loved what she told me, went into social work, and 43 years, I have now been a social worker and held different positions in different venues. But all throughout my career, I have worked with a lot of people with dementia. And because it's always been in the medical field, I've always been a medical social worker. So dementia has always just kind of come front and center, no matter where I was or what I was working in. And I came to appreciate, the challenges that I saw families deal with, and the person that was an early stage dealing with as well, and wanted to really look at that. I referred a lot of families to the Alzheimer's Association because I really honored and respected what they did and what they could provide. And so I considered it my dream job, Portia, to be able to ever work for the Alzheimer's Association. And here I am. I've been here 10 years, and I am so grateful. It is not a lot of us can say we have our dream job, but more than that, it is a passion for me, because as I look back, my mom had vascular dementia. My dad had Alzheimer's disease. My brother has dementia, and my sister is early stage. And so it runs very highly in my family. So some people may say, well, are you automatically going to get it? No, I'm not going to automatically get it, because you have to have a specific gene that is called familial gene, and there's technical names of the genes that you have to carry, and they start very young, like in 30s and 40s, and they don't skip a generation, and other factors that go into it being genetic. And really, honestly, when you look at the ones that are genetic, they are probably about 1% of all of the Alzheimer's and dementia cases. So it's very rare, but I am at high risk. So what do we do if it runs in our family that helps us? Because we have found through our research that if you just do some things that we've found through research that can help, we may delay it as much as 5 years. That's huge. That is huge. So some of those things is really just boiling down to things we should do anyway, because the more and more we study Alzheimer's and dementia, we're seeing that, a lot of it is related to so many things regarding our health. We know that there is a brain and heart connection. So anything that's good for our heart is also good for our brain. So anything regarding healthy lifestyle, on our website, we have a section that we call the 10 ways to love your brain. And so some of those, I won't go through all of them, but some of them include physical exercise. And what we have recently found out, it doesn't have to be aerobic and very hard, exercise that maybe a lot of people can't do. There is walking. And then we've also realized that in our most recent research that balancing and stretching is very beneficial. So at least if people have trouble walking with their mobility and all of those things, and even walking is difficult for them, the balancing and the stretching is very, very important. The bottom line of that is just move, keep moving, right? And so then not only exercise, but our diet. And, I'm from the South, so I love, all the stuff, that is so good and yummy. But, a moderation, it has to be a moderation. And there's so many ways now that we can make things healthier, but still taste really good. So one of the things that the association talks about and supports is the Mediterranean diet. And so it doesn't always have to be followed just, to a T, but let it be a great guideline for people, so that you know that you're getting the various things that are important to have in your diet. Also, if you have high blood pressure, there's sort of a, I guess, subcategory of diet, if you will, that falls under the Mediterranean diet that's called the DASH diet, DASH. And that is for people that have high blood pressure, but it's falls under the Mediterranean diet. So that's a really good way to begin to look at. Just start slowly incorporating some of those suggestions. You might be surprised. You might already do a lot of those things, but just take a look at that. Another thing that we know is very important with our healthy lifestyle is our socialization. And man, did we see a difference during 20 and 21, when people were really not able to go out and be around other people. Unfortunately, we knew that from research, but we really saw it with people we serve. Early stage folks moved past early stage and progressed into more middle stage. A lot of it was because of the lack of socialization. And then another piece is of healthy lifestyle is the mental stimulation. So that can be activities that you enjoy, but also find them challenging. So if you like to read, we say sometimes when we're talking about a book, we'll say, oh, it's an easy read. Well, you want to not have an easy read. You want it to be a little more challenging, whatever that would be. Yes, definitely. But taking a new class, learning a new language, or just anything, again, that appeals to each individual person of what they are interested in. The community colleges have fantastic classes that you can do. Even some senior centers bring in classes. So just any of those things to help prompt us to keep our brain active. And it can be simple things like word searches and crossword puzzles and jigsaw puzzles and board games, maybe that you haven't known how to play before and you learn those. So anything new that you can challenge your brain. Those are the four main things, but there's so many others. And I do want to mention this one, sleep. I like to look at sleep as our dishwasher for our brain, right? It helps to kind of rejuvenate our brain cells when we sleep. And we all know how when we don't get adequate sleep for whatever reason, it could be hormones, it could be worrying, it can be, anything. It really takes a toll on our body, but it also takes a toll on our brain. So we want to make sure that we address sleep or lack of sleep if we see that it's becoming a real problem on a regular basis. So those are sort of just some ideas of how we can really take care of ourselves in a better way. Portia, a lot of people will ask, what's the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia?
Right.
So basically, dementia is the overall, it's like an umbrella, if you will. It's the overall term that we use. There's over 100 types of dementias. And a lot of people don't even realize there's that many, but there are. But we hear more about Alzheimer's disease than the others typically, because it is the most common form of dementia. About 75 to 80% of all dementia is Alzheimer's type. So again, that's why we see that. And a lot of people want to know, what is the difference between what I'm experiencing? Is it normal aging or is it a problem? Because let's face it, I know as I get older, I see things that I'm like, wow. But thankfully, I know the 10 warning signs, and I will know if it's just normal aging or a problem. So I just would like to mention a few of those, if that's okay.
Definitely so.
Okay. So memory loss, we know that that's the number one thing we always think about when we think about dementia is memory loss. And it's our short-term memory that goes first. That's why a lot of people will say, well, you know, my husband, I fed him breakfast and he swears I didn't feed him breakfast, but yet he can tell me what happened 40 years ago. But it's because it's the short-term memory that goes first. Long-term memory actually stays with us, even into late stage of dementia. But it's not just the memory loss, but it's the memory loss that disrupts our daily life. Okay, it has to be to that degree. Challenges in planning or solving problems. Maybe someone was the person who always organized vacations and did all of those kind of things. They were the organizer, the planner, and now all of those things are a little more difficult to do. Difficulty completing familiar tasks. Things that we used to do without any problem, now it's a problem. For instance, my mom, again, being from the South, she made some good pound cakes, right? And so we always looked forward to her pound cakes. And one time she made one and we all looked at each other. What had happened is that she had put salt in there instead of sugar. And so that was one of the first very early indications that we knew something was a little off. But you think about it, salt and sugar has the same texture, it looks the same, and all of that. So anyway, that's just an example. And then, you know, confusion with time or place. It doesn't mean like, okay, I'm on vacation, so now is it, I don't know, is it Monday or is it Wednesday? You don't really care when you're on vacation, right? But it's more than just that. It's, I may get, instead of fall, I may think it's spring or winter or what have you. Instead of 2022, I might think it's 2012. You know, so you're really off with your time and your place. And I may say, oh no, we're in North Carolina, you know, rather than Maryland. And you can't tell me differently because that's where my head is putting me. So it's those kind of things. You know, communication is very different with dementia. And I always say that communication and behavior go hand in hand. So we have to understand the differences or the problems and the challenges in communication so that it doesn't go into a behavioral issue. And what I mean by that is people with dementia will have difficulty with interpreting correctly. What is being said, they may misinterpret it. They may misinterpret what's going on outside. They hear people screaming. It could be that kids are playing outside because it's a hot, sunny day or whatever. And, you know, kids, they're always screaming and yelling when they're playing, but they might misinterpret that as something bad or they're not knowing what's going on. But just getting the words confused, not being able to keep their train of thought and those kind of things is a part of it. It can be very hard to have somebody you're trying to help them to complete a task. And if you think about it, everything we do is many, many steps. It's not just one big step, like let's put on our shoes. There's so many steps to that. And we don't think about it because our brain works and we know we got to put on our shoes. We know how to do that. But there's many steps. So we have to consider that the person may not be doing that task because they don't remember all of the steps to doing that task. And when we begin to see frustration on the part of our loved one or ourselves, we need to stop and go and breathe. Because we need to stop it at frustration, because if we don't, it will lead to agitation and then it can lead to aggression. And I do first responder trainings, and many, many times when people go into the home, for a domestic call, and dementia is a part of that household, it's because many times, not always, but many times, it's because the person got frustrated over something and they just kept badgering and staying with it to the point that they got agitated, and then they lashed out. So I think those things are very important to understand. And so education is huge when we're dealing with dementia. So I know a lot of times we always think about, I am so alone. When you're a caregiver, you just feel so very alone. You don't feel like no one can understand. And what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? All too many times, Portia, and one time is too many, but too many times we hear from people that say, wow, I wish I had known about you sooner. I wish I'd have known about you when we were going through this with my loved one. And unfortunately, and we're working on it, but unfortunately, a lot of physicians, they will give them a diagnosis of dementia, whatever type, and then they'll say, okay, see you in 6 months. And they just kind of are left hanging and not sure what to do or where to go. What's the next steps? So here's the good news.
The good news, yes.
We are here. The Alzheimer's Association is here. Is it a challenging situation? Absolutely. But the biggest thing is you can know that you're not alone. We can connect you to people who are in similar situations, who knows exactly how you're feeling, what you're going through, because you know what? We can have wonderful friends, Portia, and wonderful neighbors and things that will help us and support us, but they've not been through that. So they don't really know what it feels like. But you get with somebody who's been through that situation or is going through that situation at the same time you are. Oh, that's powerful. That's powerful.
Yes.
And it gives you this sense of community and love and bond that gets so deep. It's wonderful to see that happen. And so we can do that. But education is huge, as I said, because many times it's just understanding kind of where their brain has taken them in a situation and how we can best maneuver through that challenge. Now, not everything works every time.
Right.
That's the hard thing about dementia, because the brain is very complex. So therefore, anything regarding the brain, like dementia, is very complex. There's so many pieces to it. But we can try things. We can give tips. And what might work today may work tomorrow or next week. So you just begin to fill up your toolbox, right? With things to try. We also have a beautiful 24/7 helpline, because you know what, to be honest, people are so busy during the course of the day and the evening taking care of their loved one. They don't have time to think even about a concern. Many times that will come up weekend or in the middle of the night. They'll think, wow, I don't know how to handle this situation, whatever it is. Or I have this question and I don't have time during the day to get it answered. Our 24/7 helpline, there is a licensed professional that answers that call all the time. So they can provide a listening ear, but they can also send resources, let them know about our upcoming educational things that are happening and our support groups that we have. They can let them know about all those things. So it's very, very important that people know that we are here for them. May I give our 800 number?
Please do.
Okay. So our 24/7 helpline is 1-800-272-3900. 24/7. There's somebody on the other end ready to help.
Give that number one more time.
1-800 272-3900.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so very much. God has created people like you who have a special gift to do what you do. And we're grateful. We're grateful to God that people like you exist. And we're really glad that you came. You took the time to share your passion, and we're grateful. I had one question. What about food? I know a lot of food, people are putting so many different types of preservatives. They're putting in food coloring. They're putting in so many other different ingredients that could affect, people's minds, thoughts, or whatever. Can you speak to that a little?
I surely can. Our research is only about 30 years old. So in the research world, we're like babies, right? Compared to, let's say, cancer or some of the other diseases. And so what we have found throughout, and we're learning more and more, there's so many causes and reasons for dementia. One of the things that just came out in this year international conference was about ultra processed foods. And we know that, if I don't have it right in front of me, but it's close to 50% of, American meals are through processed foods, and so if we can begin to kind of go back, and I know people are busy and people don't have a lot of time, but I think it has to come with planning ahead, so that we can go more natural instead of processed things that come from the box or things like that. There are now some wonderful companies that have meals, healthy meals, that they can order from and things like that. So we need to really think about that. But any additives that comes in, and the extra salt and all those things that come in from the processed food is definitely not good. And it does bring about high blood pressure, maybe diabetes, things like that, which we know leads to vascular dementia. So again, there is correlation between all of those things. And we need to try to get as healthy as we can. It comes back to healthy lifestyle.
Definitely a healthy lifestyle. Thank you again. I so appreciate it. To our audience, get this word out. It may not have been one that made you do a lot of laughing, but it was very pleasurable to hear, to listen, to learn, to get this information. And if this particular Alzheimer's has not affected you, it may have affected someone else in your family, whether it's your cousin, a distant cousin, your neighbor, or someone like that. Just get the word out. Get the word out to let them know that even in this community, people care. There's good news. This is good news to hear. And that phone number is, make sure I have it right, Yolanda, 1-800-272-3900.
Yes.
And yes, and I will definitely put Yolanda's information into the chat section of the Facebook page to make sure if you have any questions, you want to get any additional information, anything you need regarding this, she can help you with. All right. Thank you again. I appreciate it. To our audience, don't forget, December is Good News Month. With all of the bad news that's going on, we have some good news just for you. All different types of situations, all different ages, you name it. If it's good news, the world needs to hear about it. Believe me, the enemy may want you to think that you're the only one experiencing that particular situation or scenario, but just know there's other people that may be going through what you're going through and just may need to hear how you are going through it, how you are getting through it, how you came through it. All right. I thank you. So don't forget to contact me at trophyoflife@gmail.com or Portia@trophyoflife.org. All right. The platform is yours. Again, Lady Wright, Yolanda Wright. Thank you so very much. We'll be in contact just to make sure you are doing well. And I pray that you have a wonderful Christmas holiday and a
Thank
happy
you
New
so
Year.
much. Thank you.
Definitely so.
Same to you. Same to you, and same to everyone that's listening.
God bless everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.